Okay.
Realize
We'll be around.
That's a problem. There's a lot of
You seem nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's
And we'll be on stage later on tonight. So.
What I hear more is state and local governments banning, regulating indoor use, outdoor use, enormous taxes.
I'll get into it.
What do we do to fight that kind of stuff?
Let's get a good picture of what we're talking about. We're just past 100 days. Just past. And we've seen 12 states take action in this. I think that's kind of something we need to be aware of. 12 different states in less than 100 days have in some way created either taxes or bans, and that's not including at the local level because we see those on a day-to-day basis.
I didn't realize it was 12 states already this year. And that's the thing, is it doesn't, if the bill goes through or if the bill gets put down, that's not the last time that that's going to happen in that state. You don't breathe a sigh of relief if it gets shot down. You go, okay, when's it coming back?
Well, yeah, a lot of people, that's one of the things that people really get confused with. They'll see this bill come up and you'll get all this celebration because, oh, we killed the bill. Yeah, the session's not over, people. The bill's not dead. I mean, AB 1500 came back 9 times in California last year.
9 times? 9 times. 9 times.
The one on the clip hat.
Oh, and the other thing, of course, is you say that when you actually do get a bill that's voted down, right? And everybody, yay! The problem is, next week, it's right back there with 4 words changed, and well, I mean, we've seen that in Texas.
We got Joe from the Vaping Militia, and that's Angst Weaver from Plumes of Hazard. Understudy 77 from Plumes of Hazard.
I think we're trying to reach out to some of the vendors in the area. Because one of the things that I've noticed is how much impact vendors have on these things. To say, hey, this is my business, this is how much I make, this is what I pay in taxes, these are who I employ. In the economy that we're in today, those numbers mean a lot.
Well, you have to kind of look back in our history. We've got kind of an interesting history when it comes to activism. Everybody's very aware of this topic. And I hate to say this, but the industry kind of got lulled that, oh, if something happens, all the vapors will show up and they'll take care of us.
That's very rarely the case. I mean, you see this stuff all over the place, and it's 30, 40 people out of a 3,000 person vape group or something like that.
Oh yeah. So I was just at Wednesday in Washington County. It was a local thing, and I was very surprised. For a local event, we had almost 100 people show up.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
And there were 9 different vendors. And I do want to say specifically in Michigan, Mr. Elick from way over in Grand Rapids actually sent somebody up to Washington County. So that's the kind of support we need to start talking about.
So the big question is, what can all the vendors in this room do to help vaping?
Well, I guess the first and the most important thing as vendors is you guys have to perform at the state level. Now, I know there's some vendors that are actually in many states. But the thing is this battle is fought every state line. So that's kind of a misunderstanding people have. And one of the biggest things that I'm afraid of is everybody's got this, oh, they'll handle it attitude. I mean, we've got some big vendors out there. And
absolutely. And Pennsylvania and what's the other state? The 60% tax. 60% tax. Yeah, and if that's going to affect every vapor in the room, but that's going to affect every vendor too. People are going to go out of state, people aren't going to go shop at the store, that's serious effect.
That's a serious, you're talking about money at the register when you take taxes at that point.
Yep.
There's only so much money out there to be spent, so if the taxes go up, less product is bought.
So how specifically do they get involved on that state level?
Well, the first thing is, and let's identify it just like it is. How many vape shops have you ever been to where they say, oh yeah, those guys over there just aren't doing it right?
Yeah, oh yeah. And it's especially bad in California where the market is saturated down there. And I was hanging out in one store and this owner was telling me all of the beefs they have with all the other shops and how this shop doesn't like this shop and how we associate with this shop, and this group formed their own group, and this group of shops formed their own group, and I didn't know that that was like a thing.
So it's basically like my middle school.
Right. It gets clicky. It's clicky, and other shops don't like other shops, and they have to kind of realize that if these things go through, then neither of them will have shops to run.
Oh yeah, that just blows my mind when I'm talking to them. Like, I won't do with those guys because they sell this type of battery, and I'm like, by the way, if they say you can't sell or sample anymore, you're both out of business.
Yeah. So let's be honest for a second. There's a lot of vendors here. There's over 100 vendors here. We're right next to each other. And everybody's probably going to go away with a little bit. And if you can take that convention mentality and put it in your state, because Maryland's the same way. It's awful. Every shop hates every shop. There's alliances, there's allegiances. It's terrible. So if every vendor can sell here and leave and make a little bit of money, they should be able to do it with shops in the same state.
Well, you know, it really does come down to, I mean, we're businesses. Let's take vape out of the question for a moment. It's a business. Okay, so if you're running a business, there's some things you got to do. Let's start with something simple, light bill. Okay, no lights, no register, no customers, right? You got to kind of think the same thing on advocacy and stepping forward. If you're not paying that bill, which you obviously know you're not paying that bill, then you're screwed up. You can even do something different.
Oh, absolutely, and I've seen it's absolutely like for state, especially the state level. They care about the numbers. They care about how many people are employed by vape shops. They care about how much money those vape shops are bringing in, how much they're paying in taxes. That's new business in a bad economy. That's what they care about. Those are the people that will help on the stand when they can say, look, we employ 15 people. That's 15 people who won't have a job if this happens.
That's 15 mortgages, 15 rents that don't get paid?
Exactly. And that goes a long way. So I think one of the things that I've seen lack is we don't have a lot of support from vendors at state legal stuff, at hearings.
And that is going to be the downfall. I mean, let's talk specifically about North Carolina. Okay, North Carolina, there's a tax that's going to be landing here in July. It's done. There's nothing to do about it. And one of the things that I hear in North Carolina is, oh, they've already got the bloody nose, so they're going to stop doing anything at all.
Yeah, that's a horrible outlook to have. Oh. Well, the tax is already here. There's nothing. We'll have to just deal with it.
Well, what more can they do to us?
Yeah, exactly. What more? They can do a lot more.
So let's talk about what more they can do to us, okay? How about ban vaping in shops? No sampling. How's that going to affect your sales?
And they know that they can get it through because nobody fought the first time. So, oh, this will be easy. Now they can't. No vaping in vape shops.
Yeah. Hey, let's throw a license on top of that.
Think about that. No vaping in vape shops.
Okay. Now let's throw a licensing fee on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's start restricting. Let's start making rules about labels. This is one that a lot of people don't think about. I mean, in a small shop, yeah, there's no problem with it, but hey, you want to sell your juice outside of your state, and the rules are different than other states, oh, there's a big problem.
Well, when you start taking on licensing fees, a small shop becomes really difficult. It becomes difficult to have a startup. It becomes difficult to have an idea and follow through with that idea when you have 10 grand up front that you need to pay for a license, plus everything else that goes into starting a business.
I don't think any juices got popular by only being in one shop.
Oh, absolutely not. But that applies to the multitude of online vendors that I'm sure are here too, who have popular products that they sell pretty much exclusively online. There's a lot of those guys, Adirondack down there, and all those guys. They're popular online.
Funny you mentioned online sales. Let's talk about online sales for a moment. That's something that's in jeopardy too, because a lot of people don't look at this idea of it's a tobacco product. You know, they think, oh, they're just going to make it a tobacco product. Well, that's what they said in Iowa. And what happened in Iowa was when they set the licensing up as a tobacco product, as people were doing their license, the state attorneys general said, you sell online, you can't sell tobacco products online. I'm sorry.
And think about the effect that that's going to have overall to the business. I mean, this is such a global industry at this point. I mean, you have a lot of UK, you have support all over the world, not only just in the US. You start taking away online sales, you're going to cripple this industry, and you're going to cripple products.
Taking away online, or going back to what Joe said a minute ago, which is specific rules for specific states, right? You've got like the one in Texas that tried to go by just recently. I'm not sure where that ended up actually, but what they wanted to do is restrict licensing, like you have to have your license present to get your vape in, right? And so who's home all day long? I mean, like a couple of us work out of the house, but a vast majority of the people, that means they can't order online at all, right?
Well, I'm a vendor, right? So I'm a vendor and I sell online. Now I have to be familiar with 50 different laws that tell me whether or not I can send to that state.
And your software has to support it too.
Exactly. So it's one complication after another.
And that takes that bottom line higher and higher and higher.
Pretty soon we'll be paying $50 a 15 on the juice.
And that's not just including the taxes. I mean, that's just cost of business. Another thing that I'd like for people to think about is, as this industry grows, we get exposure in a lot. You said a lot of exposure all over the place. I was really surprised, actually. This is kind of, I'm kind of bragging over it. Dan Baker from Baker White called me the other day. He was talking to me about they were doing a show in Paris. And apparently, American juice is very popular over there. And he goes, this guy comes walking up to him and says, "Oh, you guys are American." He goes, Vaping Militia, that's cool. I'm like, how did I get here? Well, how did I get to Paris? There's no French on our website, so how did we get there? And I don't think people realize how far we've reached as a community. It's totally different from where we were 2 years ago. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's the understatement of the day, of the decade.
Because, I mean, when I was talking to the Washington County Board, I was able to tell them that this is a cessation product in Britain, in France, and in Italy. But it's not in the U.S. So, and that kind of hampers the vendors, I get it. But we do have the vapors. They can always go forward and say, hey, I used it to quit.
So what do vendors do? What do we do? We come together, we form local groups. That's where it has to start, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of different solutions there that people can do. First off, any trade group is easy to figure out how to do. I mean, if you go online, you can figure out how to form a trade group if you wanted to do it on your own. But you've got the group that Dimitri works with, the Smoke Frees, Tennessee Smoke Free, Georgia Smoke Free Association. They've got blueprints to do it. Savada's got blueprints to do it. And that's a real good national agency that is getting some incredible success in California. Stephen Didak and those guys are doing a great job out there. So, and I mean, just getting in touch with those and having those people step up. And I guess the biggest thing that I really want to bring forward to people is, it's not about did you make enough juice to get through the day anymore. We've got to get past this mentality.
We do. And you mentioned Savannah. One of the things I know when we talked to Savannah a while back is when he was in, I think it was Berkeley, right? And he showed up and there was a lot of like public ban, no vaping anymore. And he had like, I think 2 people show up and they were like, one of them was a vendor. And how many shops are there working?
Oh yeah, that's true.
There might be a majority. There's no reason for them to not have some representation up there to talk about this stuff.
There is some hope though. I mean, let's not all doom and gloom.
We don't want to do it.
Texas, that last bill in Texas, when Casa's call to action went out, they had a response rate of 25% of people who've been involved with Casa. That's like phenomenal. We usually see a 5 to 10%. This was 25%. So obviously, the consumers are getting it, and some of the vendors have started. The problem is we've got to get past that 25%, 50%. We need to get everybody that vapes involved.
Texas don't like to be told to do. So it's not.
So I'll say one of the great things about many of the trade organizations that we have too is that they're pretty accessible. Somebody can hit up you, Joe, or Stefan, or Greg Connolly, they can hit them up as a vendor or as a vapor and say, hey, I have some questions about how to get involved. And they will answer. So if anything's unclear, if anybody needs help, if anybody really wants to get involved but doesn't know how to make that step, you can absolutely reach out to one of these guys. This is Joe Barnett's home address is
77 Flat Road.
I didn't actually expect you to get it out.
But see, that's one of the things that I've done that's different from a lot of people. I have honestly come out very publicly so people can find me. So just for that question, I answer, and I'm not kidding, 40, 50 emails a week, and I take usually 7 to 8 phone calls a day from vendors that are going, what do I need to get involved in? It's really funny when I tell them, are you working with anybody in your state? And the first answer is no. But you can hear it, it's no, and they don't want to move forward.
Absolutely. And they should. They need to. We need to move. This is the year, right? I mean, in the last 6 months, just to blow up, you said 2 years, 6 months. The blow that we've had in 6 months, this is the year where things are coming back. This is the year where things are going to happen. I just have this feeling about that. Every week it seems like 10 new advocacy issues, 10 new bills. Where it used to be a little bit spotty, it's every week.
Well, let's think about this number. That last year, this time of year, we were talking maybe 1 million vapers. Now we're talking over 3 million vapers.
Oh yeah, we're easily $1 billion industry. We're not just a counterculture industry anymore. We're a powerful industry with easily $1 billion.
And there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things that is in our industry we need to look at. There's some issues of. We have some people that look down on people that are using cigarettes. They're vaping. I mean, they're still vaping.
Absolutely.
We can't, I mean, there's the only gateway that I know of. The cigarette either leads to quitting or grabbing a mod. Take your pick. Yeah.
I think we need to all, as a group, be it, phone users, offensive users, people who use cigarettes, people who sell them, people who don't. We all need to kind of just relax, stop fighting each other, and start working towards keeping our ability to fight with each other, I guess.
Well, and there's another one too that I find very funny is, as I'm talking to people, let's face it, once you've been vaping around a while, kind of cigarette smoke bothers you, right?
Mostly because it smells like ass. Mostly because it smells like ass.
Exactly. But there's one thing we need to keep in mind. Anybody who's smoking is the next vapor.
Well, that's the thing I don't understand why. I mean, I can kind of get why vendors cannot get along, right? There's money involved, that's fine. But between vapors, I actually don't know the numbers here, so I'm pulling this number wildly out of my ass. But I'm going to guess between 90 and 95% of us were smokers at some point, right? We didn't all use it to quit, but some of them were ex-smokers. I've known some ex-smokers that quit smoking, but then wanted a little bit of something every now and then, right? A little nick, and so they started vaping a bit, right? So on that one note alone, surely we can find some common ground here, right?
Well, we absolutely should. We isolate smokers. We isolate another entire segment of the market that could back us.
That was us.
Exactly.
That was us, not too long ago.
They were us. And we isolate them, and that's less people who care about what we're trying to do too. Instead of trying to bring those guys into our camp.
So I guess the biggest thing that we can tell everybody is to stop being divisive. We need to quit drawing lines. We need to all start working together.
That is a good message.
That's actually not how I would have phrased it. That was a much nicer way of what I would have phrased it. But stop being divisive. That's a good way to say it. I appreciate it. That's why Joe's here and I'm not.
Well, you're here, but we're letting you do the important shit.
Well, I say it nice, but I say it mean.
Right.
All right.
Effing divisive.
Yeah, I think that's the end message, right? You have to do something.
You got to do. Yeah, every time I get in front of a crowd, it's funny. Everybody's going, I want to help, I want to do something, and then I go, what do you want to do? And they go, just blank look. I'm like, anything, just anything.
So I guess in my next, so we need to form locally, right? Shop need to get along. We need to get our Vape groups together. We're being such little bitches and fighting all this infighting stuff. But the other thing is, how can we talk to the lawmakers? Because I know that's something that the militia does, right? You have packets and things to talk about. How to talk to people and how to not be stupid.
Yeah, we do that a lot. We have information packets, and one of the things that we do that's a little different from say Casal and those guys is we'll take, if someone calls us and identifies an individual bill, we'll actually build a custom packet that specifically has studies from the talking points that they've come out with. And one thing that we find though is when you hand somebody a study, these studies, they are the worst things in the world to read. I mean, they're so complicated. So what we'll usually do is put with it a little paragraph that tells you what's in that study. So you didn't have to know that study. You just have to know what's in it and who handed it to you.
Because I know that when I talk to people, some of the things that people struggle with is they don't know how to communicate with a politician, right? They know how to communicate interpersonally with people, but those are not the same things that you want to say to somebody that's passing along, right? right? I mean,
oh yeah. I tell you what, I love this panel idea. I think during the consumer thing, I'd love for you guys to come over to me again.
Yeah.
And I think we need to talk about things that shouldn't say.
Right, exactly.
Like, oh, my favorite one is, oh, by the way, propylene glycols and asthma treatments. They don't care.
Well, it's the same way, because a lot of people shouldn't say, and if you go out, if you make it to one of these kind of holidays, or if you make it to a meeting, you know, dress like an adult. Dress nice. Dress presentably. Present vapors as somebody that they'll look at and go, that's an educated human being.
You know, I agree with you, should dress nicely, but I'm going to tell you what, the most compelling testimony I've ever heard was from a guy who stands about 5 foot tall.
Was it Mooch?
You can tell. Oh!
Shots fired!
You can tell he tried because his normal spiked hairdo was a little bit knocked down, and he didn't take the nose ring out, but he jumped up there and he told the most passionate story to the council, and he had the council's attention the entire time. So, yeah, you should dress nice, but you know what? If you can't, just be here is important.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But when you have guys like you, to help people kind of along the lines of what to say, how to say. Because it's politics. It's all about how to say something. It's all about how to say something to make it matter. And to make them care about it.
Yeah, and I can tell you that every time I've had to go up there and stand in a time, it hurts. I hate time.
I have the utmost respect. I have the utmost respect for guys like you who can get up there and make words, because I'm kind of an ass. You want to come up and talk? Mr. Chesney? Come on up. No, we will get mass blast though.
I gotta widen the shot.
He has to wait and widen the shot. But we were bringing up Mass Blast 09, also from the Plumes of Hazard. Say hi, Master.
What up, y'all?
Welcome to the panel. But I want to go back to that point, you know, getting those people talking together. And here's something that we're doing a little different than militias. Instead of yelling at the vendors, because that doesn't work, one of the things that we're doing lately is we're telling the consumers to challenge the vendors. Are you guys involved? You know? So we're going to up the game that way. When somebody's willing to go in, make their purchase, and make that question and say, hey, if you're not participating, I'm not buying.
Yeah, we saw a shop that started doing a double receipts. And they had one receipt of what you're paying right now, and then the second receipt you're going to pay in the future.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, that's right in the user's face. So they get that receipt and they see it's $50 more. That's a big.
So that's something a vendor can do.
Yeah.
So that's something a vendor can do, right? To help the people. So it's not the other way around.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's education both ways. It takes education on both sides of the fence.
And that takes you don't even have to talk to the person if you don't want to. You just print the receipt and give it to them. It's like, here's your receipt and here's what you're going to be paying a month from now.
You know, another thing I'd like to see down at the bottom of every receipt is join the side.
Yeah.
I honestly.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, as a vendor, I get this question so many times, or this comment so many times. I'm a vendor and I support the facade. Yeah. Okay, you support them, but what? Because it's not a vendor organization, it's a consumer organization. And the way you support as a vendor is you tell your consumers to join.
Yeah.
And then you get your ass in a trade.
It's not facade. It's not facade.
It's facade. C, consumer. T, trade.
And CASA is great, but if you're not following calls to action, you can send you a call to action and they say, in Indiana, they're going to do this, that, and the other. And once you get it, if you don't do anything, then that call to action just became completely useless. You have to act on the call to actions to have them actually succeed. And a lot of people don't do that.
Absolutely. And not only CASA too, you mentioned earlier, Stefan. We have trade organizations as well, like SWAT. who do work with vendors and who do stuff specifically for the trade. And those are other good organizations to get involved in, to reach out to talk to. And Joe here can point you to anybody in any one of them to help you move where you need to and be where you need to be.
So here's a silly question for you. I'm going to throw this out there. If you're $1 million business, how much does it cost to join Safari?
Man, so we totally went over this and I totally forgot.
Any idea?
I totally forgot. It's not expensive, I know that. It's very affordable.
Any idea at all? $100 a month? It's a little high. It's $1,000 for the year.
Yeah, that's
a
not
little higher than $100.
That's not a lot of money.
That's $1 million business.
Yeah. And if most vendors can set aside $1,000 a year to join, then they might actually have the money to pay for the lobbyists to fight the things we need to fight.
They do take money votes.
Instead of having to do massive fundraisers.
So you mentioned that L word, lobbyists.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about lobbyists for trade groups. Yeah.
Let's.
Any idea what does the lobbyist do?
The lobbyist is involved in all the political jargon to sit down and fight for us, or for essentially a lot of times what we're paid for.
Would you believe me if I told you that's not what a lobbyist does?
By all means.
You get a lobbyist because they're connected. They know who to talk to. Okay? That's why they need to hire lobbyists. But one of the things that we're seeing in some places is they give these connected lobbyists and then they're not spending the time to train them on the industry. That lobbyist doesn't do us any good.
We've seen that a bit in Washington, right?
Oh, yeah.
In Washington, there was no connection. That did not go well. I watched that. It did not go well.
Oregon was even, I mean, and don't get me wrong, the young man in Oregon, passionate, Vaper himself, but maybe not our best fit for what we need.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's about finding somebody who knows the people, who knows how the whole political landscape and game works to move things the way we need to move things.
So another thing that I was going to kind of bring you guys is I hear this is the most common thing when I talk to a vendor, and even if there's a group established, I hear, oh, I'm just too busy to keep up. Well, in your business, if you're too busy to keep up, what do?
You go out of business.
Or you
hire people who can take some of the workload. It's called a business.
So what do you think they need to do at the trade level? They need to hire
some. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we need to get some professional advocacy going. That's what we need to do. We're fighting a professional battle with amateur tools.
That's a very good way of putting it. And we need professional tools. And some professional tools.
I'm going to make a...
You resemble that.
I'm going to make a parallel to snus, right? Another smokeless alternative. Those guys have their shit together. They have 400 pages of every study for every fight they have. Everything that they do is together. They're coordinated. They're fighting these professionally, and they're doing it well. We can learn a lot from the way they're doing stuff by unifying what you said, fighting this on a professional level, because we're so far behind and we're too big of an industry to be that far behind.
So let me throw this question around. How much money do you think this year the tobacco industry plans to spend in lobby?
Minimum probably 100 million.
Yeah, it's in the millions. It's in the billions with a B. 200? 2 million? Oh, 2 million. Okay. I thought you were saying billion.
Yeah, I did too.
I was about to freak.
I actually thought it would be a lot higher than 2 million.
I thought it would be more than 2 million. But when you think about how some of these vendors don't make $2 million in a year, then that number, that number is unreasonable.
Absolutely.
To vape company.
So the thing that's not terribly surprising, because I would have guessed way more than that too, but we've also got tobacco, right? They've got where they need to be almost, right? I mean, they don't need the kind of positive action that we do to set better precedents and stuff at legislation.
Well, don't you think they have a horse in the game here?
Certainly, absolutely. They definitely have a horse in the game, but I think if they're actually advocating or lobbying tobacco stuff, I would imagine that a lot of that has been done compared to what we need to do.
Well, they're also doing there is some lobby on Vaper products, and a lot of people are surprised. And I know there's a lot of people who have a very adamant stance against Vape. But sometimes, if we're heading in the same direction, and all the communications there might be wrong, there might be one that sometimes doesn't quite tell the truth. Just say that.
Whoa.
It might be kind of welcome to it. But we do know that when we're heading the same direction, I see a lot of vendors that pulled out of groups because of Valtteri got involved in it. And that's crazy. If they're on the same side that you are, they're putting money in, we need some work together.
Right? The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Every time. Every time.
You know, I think, yeah, right? I think one of the things too that it's easy too for the vendors to do is to do kind of like a roundup of your dollar, you know, roundup to the nearest dollar. And that could be something that could go towards, you know, advocacy. Just something that's mindless, you know, you just have it set up and it shows up 10, 15, 20 cents, 30 cents to round up, you know, because you do something like that, a person I don't think would mind as much as you saying, okay, do you want to donate? Okay, well, I guess, but, you know, so you have people coming into your shop all the time, and they already know that and they're fine with it. That's a quick and easy way to do that.
Well, let's talk about that principle. I've seen that a lot lately, okay? Where you'll have the jar at the register or something like that. And if you've got a consumer put money in that jar, where should that money be going? Anybody? Well, I might as well go to Taco Bell if they're not sending it to the side. That's consumer money. I hate to say it this way, vendors, you can't ask your consumers to pay your bills. So let's put this on you this way. So you've got a bill for advocacy because you're trying to support a lobbyist at a trade association. Okay? And you want to go to your customers and ask them for more money. Well, why don't you just do it this way so they really know what you're thinking? My light bill is past due, so why don't you just give me a little more money so my lights can stay on? I mean, that's really what you're saying. You got to grow up and act like a business. This is the cost of business, cost of doing business.
It's a risk that almost any vendor knows that they took a risk coming into this industry. Because it's a very competitive industry, right? So if you know that you took a risk coming into this industry, and you are now staking your livelihood and your meals and your family on this industry, the cost of business is absolutely fighting for them to make sure that we can stay in business.
Oh, trust me, I want as many vendors out there as we can.
Oh, absolutely. We need a lot more than what we have. The vendors are the people make a huge impact, and people's opinions make a huge impact. But the vendors, the businesses, the jobs, and economy, because we have built a hell of an economy in this industry. Economy speaks wonders to people, especially politicians, people because that's the bottom dollar, they care.
Yeah.
That speaks wonders. So we need all those people involved in this to show that we have this thriving economy, that we're not just some small, tiny little counterculture movement anymore. As much as we want to see ourselves that way, we're not. We're big. There's a lot of us.
We're an emerging industry.
Absolutely.
You know, and dollars and cents speaks more to us than I think they.
Absolutely.
It just really does. Well, I think we've had a great conversation. I want to thank you guys for joining me up here.
Thank you.
And if anybody's got any questions on how they can move forward, you can come see me over at the Vaping Militia booth. It's right back over there. I don't remember the booth on that.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
Dave. Thanks for joining.
Go Militia. Go Vaping.
What's up? You guys done? All right. Wait, don't come on yet.
We do have one last question, actually. We talked a little bit about the animosity between stores and separations in the industry, as well as upcoming legislation. Yet our industry has no standards. Maybe the next step should be the vendors themselves working with organizations such as CASAD to create those standards for juice ingredients, for mods, where to avoid vaping in public. Let the industry set the regulations rather than uninformed lawmakers filling the board in a lawless industry. Let them pass laws that we unofficially created rather than lawmakers creating their own out of thin air. How do you feel about that, Joe?
This is an excellent point. I just want to correct two things. The organization that would actually set those standards would not be CASAI, but it would be an organization like Savannah or somebody like that. But that would take the industry to acknowledge them as an authority. That's the first key. And I want down here at the bottom, there's the one other thing I want to talk about here. When you talk about uninformed laws being created, is lawmakers do that all on their own. And we have this very interesting thing that's been happening lately. Some groups have decided that they're smart enough to pass a law, that they can put a good law in the hands of lawmakers. And here's what happens with that. It's a very sad thing. In order to get a law through, you have to have, one, the votes to get it approved, which means money. You have to have control of the bill, which means you have to have a senator in your back pocket. Okay? And then, most of all, you have to be able to prevent it from being changed. What could very well happen in just a few months in Texas is a very well-meaning bill that hit the floor, looked pretty good, to get changed, and it was a law that was proposed by vapers that they actually ended up shutting down their shops. So we really have to be careful with that. And that's a great question, I thank you. And I am all for finding some form of standard that would work around that. Just whatever, yeah, something. But
so he said we as a community can agree that this is the right way. And you're not wrong. We do need to sit down and say, you know, hey, we need to be polite, first off. We can't be a whole bunch of jackasses blowing giant clouds in restaurants and expect except for a few of us. He lives in LA, that we can vape him.
It's hard to find someone that actually has it.
No, I'm close enough. I got in the general.
Look, they label buildings with campus material out there. Let's not even talk about California.
But education is a lot of it. And the studies that are taking place right now are going to go a long way into our understanding to be able to help make those. And then somebody has to come forward that everybody agrees is an authority for us to propose that. Because that's the biggest problem. We have organizations like AMSA that not everybody agrees is an authority. Because we're so segregated as a market. So everybody's got to agree and get along first.
You also brought up another interesting pipe thing that you brought up here. I hear this all the time. When's the FDA going to get done testing?
Yeah.
I'm more interested in our testing.
When's the FDA going to get testing? Never. Because in order for you to submit to the FDA as an industry, you have to do the test and submit your results. And that fallacy is very commonly prevailed that the FDA is going to step up and actually do something.
Well, it's actually becoming very common now for juice vendors to test their own juice.
You know, basically with anything that's going around, I mean, we start seeing all these underage people vaping. You know, what are your guys' opinions on what is our responsibility as vapers to keep young people from, you know, under the age of, you know, I feel like this, I'm sure everything for some of them, like, this is your man, I'm back to their team. What more can be done to prevent it?
It's a tough one. The question is about underage vapers. It's a tough one, and we have to take that stand because this is the first responsible step as an industry. And because there is data that shows that between the ages of 13 and 15, nicotine does affect growth of the brain.
Absolutely.
So we know that. So we have to be responsible. And as vendors, we have to say no. And I really want to step on something here and say that zero nicotine juice to minors is okay? Not really. It doesn't look right.
And you talk about the motive behind these things are people that are slightly uneducated making these drawing up these bills, right? The Texas one is a prime example, right? They wanted to restrict, 18 and under to not be able to buy vapors or vapor equipment too.
That was the intent.
That was the intent, right? But then after they get done adding all the stuff that they want to, right? It ends up being really damaging sort of thing.
Yeah, actually that law, the way that ends up going is if you online sales, you have to show your driver's license, and there's also another addendum that's been put on there that you have to scan the driver's license. And it'll be $6 a transaction.
Yeah, on
Just to
top.
prove your
Other than Concord, now they just passed legislation in the various Mecklenburg County that you can't vape in a public park. You can't vape on a public street, technically, if anybody has an issue with it. And I feel like, you know, what you were saying earlier about, you know, people going out in public and not being respectful. You know, I got a well, when I don't speak anymore because we had a falling out about it. He's the guy walking through the food line, you know, falling out aisle 6. And it makes us all look bad. You know, and I feel like, you know, that we have to be the advocate for what we do because nobody else understands it. You know, I mean, just like, you know, I took the time when somebody walks up to me and says, hey, what is that? I'm like, you know, I explain it to them.
I really hate when I look on Facebook and I see that post that says how happy they are that they set off the alarms in this place locking it up. Usually my first answer is you suck.
Try doing anything like Vape Media and then telling your real friends that you do something in Vape Media because they all look at you like you're absolutely fucking insane. They don't get it, right? Oh, no. They don't get it, right? We don't necessarily have to explain to them. We don't necessarily have to tell them exactly what this is about, but we have to also not be discussing the off-putting to all those people.
And again, I'd like to mention that we're going to do a consumer style panel later in the afternoon. We're going to open it up. We'll take questions from the floor and the whole 9 yards. If we don't know the answer, we'll lie to you as best we can. I mean, we'll get the best answer we can for you. So I really do thank everybody for paying attention, and I do want to thank my guests. They were awesome.
And I suppose we should also add, because I think the doors have opened, everybody enjoy Vaper Slam. Yeah.
What up, everybody? Thanks for coming out tonight to Slam. We are the Plumes of Hazards. My name is Mass Blast 09. Down the row, we have Fubaka.
Hi.
The Angstful Vapor.
What's up?
We have Understudy 77.
What up?
We got some guy there at the end that just keeps following us around, Mr. Grimm Green himself.
Hi, everybody.
And we have, to my left, from Suck My Mod, Matt.
Hi.
What's happening?
Hi.
Hi.
To our two guest hosts for the evening. Welcome.
Absolutely.
Welcome. This was
We'll try to make this painless.
This was the most impressively late we've been so far.
Absolutely. 27 minutes late.
We got to go big when we're live.
We
Like 5
did
minutes ain't gonna cut it.
change the time back.
We did change the time. It threw us off a little bit. What are you gonna do?
We were really unprepared for that time change, but we're also all really hungry.
You're almost caught up to your original start time.
Right.
So
Perfect.
that works out well.
Yeah.
Close to no.
Yeah.
Bastard.
It is possible, yeah, it is. So do we want to just start with what everybody in line is vaping?
No, we want to start with the intros and then leave.
Well, he introduced us.
I just introduced y'all.
Intros. That's done.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, no, he's right. There could be a
We
few
have
people
no
here-
idea what we're doing.
That is very accurate. There could be a lot of people here who don't
We
know
got
who
the
we are,
heckling section over here, if you want to go ahead and do that. All right.
So a little bit about us. We are the Plumes of Hazard show. We broadcast every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on the ohmpage.com/live. We are one of 3 shows. We are the entertainment / information / we have a really, really smart tech guy.
Yeah.
No.
The other 2 shows are Inside Vaping with James Martin, Dane, Varios Vapor, Ed the Green. They are an advocacy-based show. They cover a lot of really important topics. And then we have the Reviewers Queue on Wednesday night, and that is hosted by Matt Coley over there. And it is a rotating panel of different vape reviewers, including guys like Grimm, Matt, eventually I'm sure Cheeksy and Flitzy has been on, so...
Candy McCann.
Yep.
Flitz is a snappy dresser.
He is.
Yeah, he is probably the best dressed person
There might
here,
be
hands down.
the snap. Although,
he's going to give us a show. Oh,
Yeah.
Look at that, best dressed person.
best
Give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flitzy, everybody.
Those pants, dough.
Those pants, though.
Did I get all of it? You want to
so.
you want to add?
I think that's pretty solid. Oh, we've also got discourse. We didn't talk about discourse.
By all means.
Saturday Night Fever over here.
While you drip.
That's true. The other thing I was going to mention, we actually did release a community sort of based software thing called Discourse, and that's on theownpage.com as well. If you want to go check that out, go do it. It's kind of a weird thing. It's not really like a forum, but it's like forum / Twitter / Facebook /
Reddit. Reddit in there
it's
too.
Fantastic. Oh, that's right.
It is great, and it has badges and achievements, and you can feel great about yourself.
Achievements.
Right.
It does have achievements.
Achievement unlocked. No,
yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
It's fantastic.
Badges?
Badges?
Instant gratification, y'all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now,
I
mean, we could introduce Grimm and Matt Suck My Mod.
No, let's let them talk about themselves. They love doing it.
No, I don't need to talk about myself.
That's true.
At all.
Well, would you like us to
I like
gush?
talking about myself, actually.
He's going to talk.
Let Matt talk about his waxy life.
Who is your daddy?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I am Matt. I am the less attractive half of Suck My Mod. It's a review channel on YouTube. And I also run a show called The Reviewer's Queue, which is on Wednesdays, like they said. And that's really all I got. Grimm, what do you got?
Nothing. My name is Nick. I go by Grimm Green on the internet and YouTube and other places.
You enjoy vaping?
I have no idea. Yeah, no. I really like vaping a lot.
You certainly devoted enough time to it.
I like it more than I like some people. So I know.
Present company clearly excluded. Clearly.
Yeah,
hopefully.
That's what I got.
Maybe. Let's not go too far. That's fine. Oh. So, juice giveaway.
Now we're on what we're vaping. Are we? Do we have anything?
No. What are you vaping? What are you vaping on?
I have this this 3D printed triple 18650 unregulated box. Diamondback mods, I believe.
Why,
it's called.
Nick, nice. Does it have a MOSFET in there?
Does it have?
It does not have a MOSFET in it.
That's bad.
Oh, MOSFET patrol.
Well, you know, that's why we test things.
Yeah.
And report to the people of the internet on how things are. So I'm trying that out. Tugboat and pineapple cake for days.
Yum yum.
Because it's just wonderful. That's what I got.
That's fair. I have a billet box with an Aspire coil in it. And inside that is peanut butter and jam from Stash E-Liquids, and it is phenomenal. A Stig Helix and an Uber Toot with DB Liquids over there, Raspberry Mint.
It's good stuff.
And a rail box that I just got in 2 days ago after stocking my Postman before I left.
You did.
Filled with Huck Yeah from Suck My Mod over there.
Nice. I actually just switched up my normal setup is my flask with my rose. It's got raspberry, but I actually switched it up because we've got something to talk about tonight with my dripper. So I've currently got a Derringer with a Chuffin' Up drip top on top, and on this delicious little guy. This is a DNA 40 mod. That's one of my favorite things ever. It's got a Bambino on top, which is what we'll be talking about later. And the last thing. Oh, and by the way, in both of those drippers is Baked Blue by Lab Rat Liquids. And here I've got my own billet box, and this one, unlike Sean's, has a kangaroo in it. What that is a little adapter that lets you use. Are you okay? It's a little adapter that lets you use sub-tank heads, which is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, and that performs pretty well too.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
I want one of those.
Yeah, but you can use mine as long as you
I do.
Yes. What are you vaping on, Boo?
I have my Raptor 120p box by Ohm Wrecker.
Yeah,
he's somewhere around here.
Somewhere.
Is he here? Does he want to stand up and wave?
He's walking around.
Where's
somewhere?
Dylan, are you here?
I literally texted him 5 minutes ago. I'm like, dude, do you want to be in plain sight so I can call you out? Not call you out, but shout you out.
He's not here. We'll tell you about him later.
This box is very nice. 120 watt P box, dual 18650. I have the Odin RDA on here with also peanut butter and jam from Stash E-Liquid. Very nice.
All right, so I got my old school camera mod that's about 3 years old, just old school OKR inside of a Sony camera. If anybody wants to see it, check it out after the show. And I got some Brown Betty in there. from Lab Rat Liquids. And also after the show, if you guys want to come up, I have the new SX temperature control mod up here. So if you want to check that out. And in there I have some Stash e-liquids. I believe this one's Cinnamon Girl. So that's what I got.
I got the BMI box mod from Beast Mode Mods, SX350, 100 watts, Aeolus RDA on top, and some Huck Yeah that I made. So
nice.
That's it.
That is a big box.
Big.
Yeah.
Is that the only thing that Matt Pilley is hauling around? Is that one giant BMI box?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what else is he gonna put in his pocket? If putting that thing in there.
That's probably true. Fair enough. That thing is stout, but I mean, it's off this SX bar, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Sad.
All right. So we got all kinds of fun stuff tonight.
Yeah,
giveaways and raffles and
we don't have any raffles.
Yeah, no raffles.
We have contests,
just
and giveaways, but no raffles.
That's true.
Whatever.
Speaking of raffles, though, the Vaping Militia booth does have a raffle.
Yeah, they do. Yep, $10 if you go down there.
Yeah.
Third booth, fourth booth down, the Vaping Militia, $10. They have over close to $1,500 worth of stuff that they're going to be giving away. Raffle ticket is $10. You can support the Vaping Militia. You'll see those guys down there. I see them waving, so they're taking tickets. So that's a pretty nice score.
Absolutely.
The prize is huge. Have you seen the prize?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
And it's for a good cause.
And it's for it's for the militia. How do you not like the militia?
Exactly.
I told them if I want it, we'd give it away.
Yeah.
So the raffle's going on, and tomorrow they pick tomorrow night. So very cool stuff.
So we are going to start this by randomly throwing some juice into the crowd. That seems like a good way to start.
I say.
Sounds like a really great idea.
Bottle? Everybody take a bottle.
No glass.
Oh, we're all chucking one?
Yeah, let's all chuck a bottle. I think we got one extra.
Okay.
Matt and Nick can fight over it.
There. You can throw a bottle. I don't want to get sued.
Yeah, we're not chugging a bottle.
Yeah, we're gonna gently lob a bottle.
All right. Heads up.
Ready?
Yeah,
Bottle.
everybody look this way so we don't put your eye
everybody
out.
please look
Juice
this
bottles coming through the air. Oh, somebody got
nice.
Oh. Did everybody just throw it to the girl?
You still have to toss
No,
I just want to.
I was actually going to throw it to Charlie over there. He makes some jump mods.
Hey, you're supposed to throw it, not throw it in your pocket.
Oh, I was gonna keep it.
Okay. I kind of want to do
I
it.
got some juice.
I kind of want to do it
juice
again.
was donated by DB Liquids as well for everybody else.
This juice is called Ruby, which is
all right,
funny.
these look.
Should we make Nick throw his own juice?
Yeah, we should make it.
Ruby touched it.
Together?
That was the weakest throw. I think.
Are we throwing these now?
I got one called Glacier Banana here, made by some guy named Grimm Green.
Yeah.
We've decided that you're gonna also.
Oh, look at the hands go up.
My bad.
You can quarterback for the Seahawks with that arm.
We left you a bottle of your own juice to throw
Oh,
in case you ever get angry.
Cartomator Crush, Epiclouds, and Amber Juice 30 ml bottle.
Here it goes.
Pineapple cake?
Nicely done.
Pineapple cake?
Oh, that's a good one.
Make it a good one. Come on, use that
I
arm.
want to see some elbows thrown.
There's a lot of people in the back. Can you get it?
Get nosebleed. Here it goes. Oh, it's bouncing in front of it. He dies.
You can play for the Jets with those
Somebody
hands.
may have died.
Shit.
Well done.
Is that it? Is that it for the throw?
No, who else wants to throw?
I'll take one.
No. You want to throw one?
I got Oasis Mist from Epicloud.
Yeah.
I think I got the coolest one. Donut Pounder.
Yeah. That's a good juice
Here
to
we
throw.
go. Here we go.
Donut Pounder.
That's for the nosebleed.
Strawberry Circus?
Oh.
A lot of people up for that.
Oh, yeah.
Gray shirt?
Feel like you should throw it that way.
Nope.
No.
Oh! Snap.
Didn't even move his hand.
That was an unbelievable catch.
Sorry, dude.
Fuck you, this was
That
my
was
juice.
impressive.
I got you.
The reflex.
Right, well done.
He didn't even move his arm. He just throw it here. I don't know. That was cool.
It was pretty badass.
Really good.
In a normal show, right, without the giveaways and the live audience of however many people are out there, we do a little bit of talking and sitting down just amongst ourselves. We do a little bit of talking, sitting down, just amongst ourselves, and we kind of talk about what's going on in vaping, anything interesting that we've gotten, stuff like that. So I figure we'll probably start with that for you guys, just so you can kind of get a taste of it. Sure. And then we actually have a lot more fun stuff planned. So, Fubaka, you want to start us off?
News. He doesn't have any news?
I don't.
Are you kidding me?
You're going to talk about your own record, right?
My own what?
Your own record.
Yes. This thing is tiny, and it's powerful. And it's dual 18650, and it's in a P box. Oh, hell no, I'm not throwing this. I literally just spilled water on it like 40 minutes ago.
That was a good try, though. I really appreciate that.
Got to give it room for trying.
But,
Raptor.
It's a Raptor 120 chip. It's got the Ranger-style pot on there that you'll see on that mod. Readout, remaining voltage, master on-off, inside. If you want to see it up close and personal, come find me.
Yeah, after the show, check it out. We'll have a bunch of mods up here.
You heard it here third.
Yeah, you are. All right, Inksy.
Me?
Yeah.
We keep catching him with his Addy open.
Yeah, that's the best time.
It is the best time, and the reason I was doing that because I realized that we're about to talk about these mods, or these addies. There's a couple of things we've got going on. The first one I wanted to talk about was a guy named Omen. So if you're on Facebook, there's a Billet Box Owners Club. What is the name of is it Billet Box?
Billet Box Club.
Billet Box Club. There's a guy named Omen, which, I mean, good pun, right? If you're familiar with the Billet Box, there's an adapter you can get by Mystique. It's called the Billet Bridge, and you can use Aspire BBC coils, which this guy likes.
I like quite a lot, yeah.
Right. I've been after a Billet Box for a really long time. I finally picked one up. I got a Billet Bridge, and I love everything about this mod except for how it vapes. I think it kind of vapes like garbage.
In which case, I think you're wrong.
You do think I'm wrong.
Well,
Why do you
is
think
it just because
like
of
garbage?
Yeah. I want to know why, yeah.
Why?
Why do you think that?
Why?
Every time that I have put an Aspire BBC coil in here, it tastes like a Clear Up.
Because it is a Clear Up.
Right.
Clear Ups are a lot better.
I disagree.
Don't you think some of that, though, is because of the airflow? You're used to more airflow?
Yeah,
That's
like chucking a golf
It's-
ball through a garden hose.
But the thing is, it's not just airflow though. It's the vape density, right? It tastes thin, weak to me. But I was also using the wrong juice in it, apparently, right?
Yes.
I was using the juices that I prefer, which tend to be thin, fruity, or minty sorts of juices, which taste like shit in the Clear Up.
Yes, they do not come out well on the BVC.
Can I try yours? Can I try that?
Now, yeah, absolutely.
We can have Nick put them side to side and say which one tastes better.
Absolutely, and that's
Sure.
totally fine. Let me get this set
We've
up
already been
right.
doing this since this afternoon.
Science.
Yeah,
For
pretty,
science.
Let me
and
make
pretty
sure it
much,
works.
so you, when you know, after the show, you can come and look at them. But what they've done is they've taken the Kanger coil and allowed it to be in a special tank inside of the billet box,
Right.
and it not only improves flavor, but I think it does a lot of that because of the airflow.
I think you're right.
You know,
So
I mean-
the difference here is he's got this billet bridge in it with the Aspire BBC coils. I have now got something by Omen called the Kangaroo for some reason. I'm not really sure why he called it the Kangaroo, but it's a little piece of titanium that lets you use a sub-ohm Kanger.
Because
sub-ohm
it's
tail.
the Kanger tank, kangaroo.
Absolutely. Oh, Kanger. You know
Yeah,
what? I never
yeah.
got
Kangaroo,
that.
Kanger.
Bing. The little light bulb just went off.
Oh my. Which one do you like more?
2-ohm coil, though, right?
Yeah,
See?
no,
Yeah, I like
and that's the difference. So I also, once I found out that I needed a darker, more rich juice in there, it actually did taste much better to me to having the billet bridge. But I am far preferring personally the sub-tank coils. It does need more power, and there's more power available. I've got it turned down a little bit.
But that's probably why I haven't been as big of a fan of the sub-tank coil on that throughout the day,
Right.
is because the billet box can't put out enough power for it.
That's arguably true. Now I've got to, like I said, drag that lid down and crank it up a little
For
bit
once,
if you
I
want.
agree with Sean.
Now the
like
other
the
thing is
BBC
that I
better.
like is I don't just max out like you do on a sub tank, right? You get that thing, you just rip it, right? Just, but on this thing, I actually draw pretty slowly. Yeah, just dial it up.
Other way.
Don't go to probably 5.
You owned one of these, right?
Yeah, originally these things are Cardo tanks, right? And you were a Cardo monkey for a long time.
And that's all there was along. You know, when you first got a
Absolutely.
billet box a few years ago, that's all that was to put in them.
There.
All you had was a Cardo, and that was it.
Right.
So
I will say that getting a billet box in both the Kangaroo and the BVCs and all
Right.
that has shown me how far we've come with Clearo technology, though.
Right.
That's certainly
because it's a good vape. Either way, it's a good vape, and Clearos used to suck.
Still not
really
as good
bad.
as a Cardo, though.
Yeah. Probably not as flavorful as a Cardo, though.
Right. So to me, now that I'm vaping the same juice, right? We both got Stashy Liquids. Yeah, well done. We both got Stashy Liquids, PB and Jam in it. I would agree that the flavor is better out of yours. There's hands down, it is. However, the overall vape experience and the vape density you get out of mine, I personally prefer, and the airflow too, not to mention.
That's a fair point. Other than I don't like the airflow from the Kangaroo.
Right. Well, that's because you prefer sucking on a pencil.
Absolutely.
Right.
Didn't we figure out earlier that it's better to have a tight draw or a tight butthole draw?
No.
Than a little bit too loose?
Tight butthole life.
Not draw, you tight butthole. Yes.
Yeah,
I suppose.
absolutely.
Yes. I'm uncomfortable with this entire conversation, honestly, right now.
Probably because we're sitting right next to each other. If this was on the internet, it'd be fine.
Right. It would be a little bit easier. That's true. That's true. And that's really all I got to say about the Omen.
Do you have anything to say about the Bambino?
I do. That's next. I said that's all I have to say about the Omen Kangaroo.
I stopped listening after that's all I have to say.
I know. It's. I think Maz can probably agree that he doesn't listen terribly well.
Yeah, y'all doing all the talking.
Well, it's my turn for news.
All yours mask coming out of this.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing that's been popular lately that I thought I might mention to you guys. So as I mentioned a minute ago, I've got a Derringer, and I've got a Bambino. These two little funny little RDAs, I've become a really big fan, and specifically with DNA 40, wrapping it with a nickel 200, NI 200. I never thought I'd be happy with that. I normally drip around 50, 60 watts plus.
I still think the airflow on that is just weird.
It is. So the Bambino specifically?
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, there's no doubt.
Yeah, the airflow, basically, the air channels have a barrier in front of them.
Right.
Airflow comes in, and supposedly the air's supposed to hit it, cause low pressure, and do all this funky stuff inside, and you get a great vape.
Yeah, it's a little
that's it right there.
Yeah.
That's a Mass Blast special right there.
Real talk.
Don't inhale it.
Real talk with Mass Blast.
Real talk about Mass Blast.
Word up, y'all.
So the funny thing about the Bambino, and you can't see it, but you can come out and check it later. As Massey said, when the air comes in, it hits this ridge and it tumbles up and over and hits the coil is the idea. And supposedly it helps with spitback. Hashtag spitbacks.
Yeah.
Supposedly. But what it really does, in my opinion, is make the vape a little harsher because the air's not hitting directly on the coil.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but if you take that and compare that to the Bambino, or excuse me, the Derringer, which is a single coil, but same power, same everything else, same nickel build, same 0.1. It's delicious. I think it's a smoother vape. It's a little bit higher quality.
Having vaped both, I would have to agree now.
Yeah.
I think, again, it goes down to the airflow.
It totally goes down to the airflow.
Yeah.
I think it's funny they tried to be all creative with how the airflow works, yet didn't even put airflow control.
Right. That's right, and that's another difference too. Is
Absolutely.
one has airflow control, the other one doesn't.
That's right. The Derringer has airflow control that you can twist it around. The Bambino, you are fixed with a 3. But the weird thing is it is not only is it fixed, it does restrict it a little bit by having that rail, that little ridge there.
Well, Sean vapes his Derringer with the air hole closed off.
With closed.
I have about a half of an air hole open.
That's a stretch. Half an air hole.
Right.
Well, I will say that was, I got the Derringer and I'm thinking, I've had a Tobe, I've had, all these Addies that have great airflow.
Yeah.
No big deal. Well, I did close down one of the air holes,
Yeah.
So I run 4 instead of all 6.
I've actually been really enjoying single coil, right? So it's 2 or 3
in a dual coil setup.
Just in a single coil, but yeah, dual coil, 1.5.
Yeah.
Solid.
I don't have either atomizer. I'm just like in the middle of this.
But so just to give both of them a couple good cons on them as well, the Derringer, unfortunately, as you pick the top cap off, it tends to hold juice around the outside of the barrel.
Yeah.
So you pull this guy off, and juice tends to kind of well around there. Now it does not leak.
Right.
But if you're like me, that I never just drip down the drip tip.
Yeah.
I pull the thing off. And
Why don't you just drip through the drip tip and save yourself the trouble?
Because I'm weird and I like to see my coils and wicks.
Absolutely.
Why?
I have no idea. It's like a compulsion. Like I have to look at them.
I am exactly the same way.
It makes me think like they've gone away. The biggest thing is I think it's probably because when I first started I was totally concerned about the dry hit. So I want to make sure everything's still in good shape. My coil hasn't magically fucked itself up or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I've been dripping for 2 years now, but I still
any
like
number of things could happen while you're not looking at it.
Now, there are gremlins, right? I mean, you had a bad vape week or two, right? The gremlins happen.
It's been about a month now. We're pushing a month.
Yeah. So it happened. I don't know why. It's dumb, right? So there's that.
Okay.
As far as the con there. Now, the pro to the Bambino is the whole top cap pops off like a tobe. If you ever seen a tobe, this whole top just pops right off, and it's fantastic.
Two-piece.
Yeah.
Right? You just pull this guy off. All of your stuff's right there. It hasn't leaked anything. It won't leak anything. But the problem with the Bambino is that airflow thing, which I think makes a slightly harsher vape, and also not adjustable airflow, as we already mentioned. And also, there's a lot of people that don't like the built-in chuff-style drip tip because it does get warm.
Yeah,
it does.
It
absolutely
I think I
gets
got
warm.
third-degree burns on my lips after vaping that thing.
Yeah.
Well done.
That was okay.
Yeah. Well done.
It's fantastic.
That was this beer is delicious, but it's making me burp. The rabbit duck.
And carbonated things do
It's
that.
very carbonated.
Can we just get Nick to say what's in the news, Robin?
Ooh.
I have to burp first.
Yeah.
Someone has to burp first.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
What's in the news?
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
What's in the news?
We don't have him sitting here very often to have him do it for us, right?
That's true. I think that's probably about it between the two things. We'll probably go into more detail later when I can actually show it to you guys on the on the camera and whatever. Yep.
Absolutely.
So I think that's probably about it for me.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna stick to gear. I'll save the big long-winded speeches for later.
Yeah. Yeah, you will.
And the only real I'm definitely good at big long-winded speeches. The only real piece of gear that I have is the rail box, which I picked up from your friend Jack. And he shipped it from the Netherlands. It came in. Matt has been at my house. And I woke up, checked the mail. It's out for delivery. How long did we drive around, Matt? About a half hour?
Yeah, instead of hanging out with his friend he never met, we looked for the mailman for 2 hours.
We looked for the mailman for about a half hour.
Oh, it was long.
We did find him.
Wait, did you stay home and send him to look for the mailman?
That's a good... I should have done that.
You've got some vape clouds.
I'm sure you would have
instead
if you would have thought of
They're
it.
like little poofs. Poofs.
But, so... I got it in. I wanted to try it out. I didn't know how I'd feel about it, right? I didn't know if I'd want to keep it, if I was going to get rid of it, anything like that.
Well, it's a very expensive mod.
It
too.
is.
Right.
It is. It was $400 shipped to my door. So it's really large.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That's ridiculous.
What the?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
It is really nice, though.
No, I literally did not know that.
Wow.
I just knew he was getting one.
You had to assume.
Yeah, come on, man.
Have you met?
You had to take
Dawn?
that guess.
I don't know. Maybe he made a deal with the devil. I don't know.
Okay, so what's so special about the rail box?
Right.
So the rail box, much like the billet box, has everything inside.
Yeah, because people can see that.
I'm explaining it while I hold it up. I'm hoping the camera picks it up anyway,
Yeah,
right?
But unlike the billet box, it takes a 22 metal addy.
Unlike the billet box, it takes any addy on a sliding rail and one 18650 with a DNA 40.
So you pretty much can just put a K-Fun in there and...
A K-Fun, a dripper, a Jenny, whatever you want.
Have you tried a dripper in it?
No.
Why?
Because I don't really drip that much.
Because it's gonna leak.
I also don't really see. I also don't really see the point of putting a dripper in here because one, it's gonna leak.
$400 leak.
You really have to drip like right down there, or you have to take it out and apart every time.
I'm gonna make them a one of these and call it the rail bottle. You just
The
leak
rail
inside of it. $400.
But it's big, right?
Right. It's about the size of a B box.
Yes.
Yeah, I ham and
That's not the size of a B box.
It's about the size of a B box.
Yeah, it is.
There's a B box sitting on the table.
Yeah.
It's shorter than one, but it's...
There's one right
Sitting
there.
right there.
There you go.
So
way shorter.
Yeah, it's a little shorter, but it's
shorter.
It's
the
wide.
thickest one. That's
It's
for sure.
About the size of a B box.
All right.
3
You guys
inches.
argue even more.
Three-quarters
The
of an inch shorter.
the biggest issue, though, and I will say this, and this is going to kill me because I'm probably going to trade it.
Bundles
The
of
biggest
sticks.
issue is that the airflow comes in the top, down through the thing, and then up through, and it kind of makes the vape taste stale.
Why are you saying that if you're going to trade it?
Because, I don't know, I'd feel like shit if I didn't say it, right? So it kind of makes the vape taste stale.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It does. It's a little
Well,
weird.
and one of the things when you said that, I thought, okay, well, put the air holes down at the bottom, but you have the piece, the 510 that slides up and down, so that would cover the air holes, so that wouldn't be a fix.
Not at all.
I'm also kind of wondering about the contacts, because the contacts just slide up and down. And
Yeah.
how much sliding are you going to get out of that before it starts
eroding or whatever.
acting up?
Yeah.
But it is really cool. It is really well made. But I'm probably not going to keep it.
No, you don't keep much.
That's why
I don't keep much. That's really all I have, though.
I mean, that's why I didn't buy it, because it was cool, but I didn't think I'd use it.
Masty, I think, has the most interesting shit because he's got new temperature control things.
Yeah. So I got the temperature control board. It's an EEE board. I've been running it for a few days, and it's just inside of an old school SX Mini, and it's been running really good. For starters, no screen glitches, which is great.
Wait a minute. It does temperature control without scrambly screens?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Or scrolling screens or anything like that.
Now that said, I have yet to see any of that in the Flask.
Right.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. So this is the SX Mini. Basically, we put it inside the screen. There is a little bit of a difference in the screen size from the new ones. I believe Yeti Vapes has also these on display. They have 2 of them down there, and they're the new M class, which are a lot different than these. They have a nice finish on them, and the screen's a little bit bigger. So, but so far so good. I mean, and they've been pretty receptive to any bugs or issues. We've told Yeehee about it, and they've sent us updates. So pretty soon this will be out, and I'm liking the temperature control part of it.
So you like it better than the DNA 40?
I don't think I've had it long enough to make that decision yet. So, because I have a few DNA 40 mods, and I really want to give it a nice 3-4 weeks. So, to make that decision. So, yep.
I mean, does it functionally work a lot like the DNA board?
It does. It does. It does a little bit different on the ramp up. The DNA has some interesting stuff when you first fire it. You'll see the voltage ramp up and come down. The advantage is that you could set this thing at 60 joules. They're using joules as a measurement device.
What's a joule?
It's what you got on your rhinestone mod. That's what a joule
on
is.
My bedazzled mod.
Yeah. The bedazzle mod. But yeah, so they're using that as a method of measurement. A lot of people can convert it over to watts by doing it by second. There's a lot of wondering about how if that's gonna be in the end product. If they're gonna continue to use joules, or they're just gonna have it on watts, so people can just set that. But also the other thing that's different than DNA is the different modes that they have. They have the standard, the soft, and the powerful. And the best way to describe the soft is you start out at a lower voltage than where you're at, and it just ramps up. The powerful is just straight up, kick to the chest power, and standard is usually, what you have across the board. So, but yeah, overall, really good.
Pretty solid. And you said the screen was bigger, which I didn't realize.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, because the newer mods, the ones that are different colors and stuff like that they're coming out with, the M class, they have a bigger screen hole. So that's the next evolution of them. So
the only thing scary to me is if it does end up having some issues, they're not going to be able to take care of it as well as Evolve does with the DNAs.
Right, but they can also find out what the issue is and send you an update. So they've already done that. We reported back some issues that the board had, and they released an update, and we're trying it now, which I think is important. I feel like if you buy a mod and you have a problem with it, you should be able to have a software update to fix it. So as long as it's not hardware related. So
we only have a half hour left, so we got an hour.
All right.
You had the other thing too, right? The EVOD versus the SIG.
Yeah. So there was a new study released yesterday that basically says that it takes 35 minutes of vaping and EVOD at 18 milligram to metabolize the equivalent of 10 puffs from a cigarette. So that means that you would have to sit there on an EVOD for 35 minutes, vaping 18 milligram juice to equate 10 puffs from a cigarette. That's
really good news.
Yeah.
The only person in here that could do that is Flitzy.
Yeah.
He probably is the only person here who could do that. That is really good news.
What are you at, 24? 24, yeah. Do not try his mods out.
No. I did. It made my pupils dilate.
Yeah, so that's
why.
That's pretty interesting. So, yeah, and they're still, you know, the study was funded by the American E-Liquid Manufacturing Standards Association, and it started last October. Yeah, so it started last October, and they've been working, you know, still now. So, thanks. It's your mic.
I don't know who it is.
It's Anksy. He's putting his mic down by his crotch. Yeah, don't put the mic by your crotch.
I had no idea it would do that, but apparently it does.
So, and you know, last August they say they submitted a 100-page report, touted the most comprehensive document that the FDA has received, explaining how e-cigarette regulation should work. And basically, you know, they're trying to educate them about this stuff so they don't just go crazy on that. So, all right, what do we got next?
All right, we're going to break on that one for a while because we do have Joe Barnett here with us, who's going to talk a little bit about the consumer side of vaping advocacy. We already talked to all the vendors earlier, so we're going to have Joe talk a little bit about the consumer side of things, if Nick gives him the microphone.
Joe Barnett's my hero. Just so everybody knows, I don't have a lot of heroes. Joe's one of them.
I can absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Come on, Nick. Well, Sean, let's do it open forum like we did before.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we got to talk a little bit this morning when we were doing the B2B stuff, right?
Yeah, let's do the same thing.
All right.
We can do a little bit. We can try to focus it in a little bit on more of the consumer side.
I do want to cover one thing right up front.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's a new call to action up at CASA.
Right. I actually just got that email just a while ago.
And this one's kind of important because what we want to do is start feeding the FDA information.
Right.
Right.
So let's say that the best thing you can do is go find the transcript for the longest video you can find that has to do with vaping and send it to the FDA.
Yeah. I just took a big drag and all of a sudden I just need to speak. Do I not remember seeing that they said something about videos and like forum posts are fine, but they also like a little bit of condensed things in text form, right? If it's like in a PDF format, then they're required to read it as opposed to a video, which, I mean, if you send them a Grimm video, they could watch it if they're smart, but they're required to look at it if it's like a PDF, right? Like documentation.
Yeah, the idea here is actually to inundate them with as much information as possible.
Right. I mean, maybe we can make them wait a decade, right? Having to go through all this information.
Send them all a Phil Basardo's catalog.
I'm thinking a good transcript from a Plumes show would work awesome.
That may take a while. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you guys could throw out some words.
We can't throw. Some of us more gifted than others.
We should talk each other.
Well, why are you looking at me?
You're garrulous. You're verbose.
Yes.
You're obtuse.
Loquacious.
Obtuse.
Yes.
Also obtuse.
And a loudmouth.
Yes.
And ostentatious.
All words that are accurate.
Wow, that was like
Sean
4
Thomas.
syllables.
What? Ostentatious?
I'm only going to say yes now because my feelings are hurt.
I'm sorry. So that is an important thing to do, right? We need to inundate them with information. We need to educate them so we don't have a bunch of people that have no idea about vaping making rules about vaping, right?
Exactly. I mean, the overall idea here is, yes, we want them educated, but because we already know that as much effort as we put into educating them properly, we really do need to feed them as much information as possible.
Right.
Right. Sure. So, join CASA, follow their calls to action.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing to do right there.
Right.
Last time I checked, there was only like 96 comments, which is pitiful and pathetic. So, we need more of those.
Just 96?
Yeah, 96.
Not 69, 96.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Well, we do have the rest of the month, though, so, I mean, don't get disheartened yet. It's something that we have a continuing process on.
Well, there's probably a couple thousand people here that we might be able to sway.
Well, you know, I'd hope that everybody here would at least go do that call to action because it's, I mean, it's a little more complicated like the old ones used to be, but you can actually have some fun with this one. I'm going to send them all the Phil videos I can find.
That'll fill up the inbox.
I would send them. I get elbows flying on my face. Like, oh God.
I would send them Nicks, but they might be entertained.
Yeah.
All right. So this morning we were talking about advocacy groups, people like the Vaping Militia, such as yourself. We've got CASA. And then we got the kind of the other side of it, Safada, right? We were discussing this morning how vendors and people in the trade can actually do things, right? Things that they can do to help us keep our vaping right.
Yeah, and one of the biggest responsibilities of a consumer is not, I mean, yeah, you need to be a member of CASA and try to stay active, but one of the biggest things that a consumer can do is make sure that their vendor is participating.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that just all you got to do is ask some questions. I mean, you got to look at it this way. If this person's not going to stand up for your rights, then why are you spending money with them?
California didn't have a hard time getting money together.
Come on, California labels trees as hazards.
Right. Yeah. You go into a parking garage and there's mandatory signs about carcinogens in your parking garage because of exhaust and whatever.
Yeah.
The air quality is kind of shit. Nick looks like he has something to say about that.
No, I don't. I'm impressed with California and all the shops that came together to get all that money together.
Absolutely.
I think that's amazing.
What was it, 16,000?
No,
yeah,
way more than that.
Yeah, it was much more than that.
And they did it in a matter of hours.
Yeah, in a couple of hours, they raised over $100,000.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Which is, and these are shops that have beef with each other.
Right.
And they were all in the same room, and they were all donating money to the same cause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's good. I was really impressed by that.
That's something that kind of directly goes into what we were talking about this morning, which I didn't realize that it was that fast.
Yeah, it was in a couple of hours. Sure. It was like they had this line in the sand meeting, as they called it, where it's like, let's put all our bullshit aside and let's just all donate money to Safada and to get this going.
Right.
And you know, I really got to give a big hand to Stefan Didak, to Mark Burton, and to Doug Hughes. They were the guys who were the engine behind that. And I'm telling you what, those guys spent an incredible amount of hours to make that work.
Yeah.
And California owes those three gentlemen a great debt for all the effort that they did.
Stefan Didak is one of my other heroes.
When he's not being sarcastic. Oh,
Monitors
wait, when is
no,
it?
when he's, including when he's being sarcastic.
Right.
That's part of his charm.
Oh, yeah. That and the bald head.
Absolutely.
I
mean, I think it's an occurring theme in Plumes. About half of the people up here can probably speak to bald heads.
It's true.
Brian, that and the bald head.
I have a full head of hair.
I have to go use the restroom.
Oh, okay. Nick will be back.
Should I say that?
Nick is going
I
to
have
the
to
restroom.
go use the restroom real fast.
So if you want to meet Nick Grimm Green, restrooms right here to the left.
You want to go together?
Stall B. Stall B.
Just do a little whistle and a foot tap, and he'll be right out.
All right, so let's talk about advocacy and what we can do as consumers, as opposed to the trade stuff that's been going on. Obviously, join CASA, but what can we do? I mean, we spoke this morning about banding together, forgetting the ridiculous beefs and stuff that we all get into. Heads up. Following CASA's call to action, contacting the Vaping Militia, joining that. What can we do?
Well, you know, just like we see in the vendor categories, there's a lot of divisiveness in vapors. A lot of times they will ostracize other groups. Like, I know we just had a lot of fun with the people here that were cloud chasing, and so often I hear, oh, it's the cloud chaser's fault. You know, and it's really nobody's fault as long as everybody's doing it in the right spot.
Right.
So, you know, people that like to go on that particular tack, they don't understand that, you know, anybody that wants to vape, however they vape, that's their thing. Let them do it.
Right.
Be a respectful vapor.
Yep. It kind of goes back to being just a respectful human being. Right. I know.
I'm trying not to be as verbose.
Right. How unusual for you.
It's really difficult.
But yeah, that activity is very important. The other thing that a lot of people don't understand is where businesses use lobbyists in order to get relationships. People don't use lobbyists.
Right.
People use their own vote.
Yeah.
As their way, which means you have the ability to call your representatives and say, hey, let's talk about what's going on.
Right. Yep.
And I guess one of the biggest approaches that people are surprised about is you don't go in there screaming and yelling, save my vape. What you want to do is go find a common item that you're both familiar with and talk to them about that first.
Sure.
That dialogue will lead to something else.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay.
Agreed.
Do we want to talk about what things to not say when we're talking to politicians? We didn't really cover that this morning very much.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things that that are very interesting that you hear said. It's water vapor. You like that one?
Yeah. Water vapor is
It's water vapor. What are you?
It's water vapor.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's water vapor in it.
Yeah.
But that's not what it is.
Some of my other favorites is, oh, by the way, it's used in asthma treatments.
Right.
You know, technically it hasn't been for 9 years, but
it's used in antifreeze treatments too.
Oh yeah, that's the other one. Someone will go in and make the comment about, oh, this is used in antifreeze that doesn't kill you. Well, that doesn't help a whole lot either.
Right.
It's there so it doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
Sure. Seems legit to me.
And another thing is, a lot of people don't understand the weight of their personal story.
Right.
Okay? When you go in front of anybody who's talking about making rules on this, your personal story does matter. No, these guys honestly don't care how you quit. Yeah. The fact that you did quit is important.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm saving all this. I got something. I'm saving it.
Oh, you got something for later?
No, I got something for as we wrap this up to go into something.
Oh, okay. Another thing that people have to be really careful of is when they're actually talking to legislators, when they're talking to city councils, one of the things you don't want to do is go in there with a chip on your shoulder.
Right.
I mean, that will really cause problems right away. If they think you're going there to start trouble, then their eyes roll away.
Don't be an ass about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you want a dialogue.
Exactly.
So, but the big thing is consumers, the most important thing that you can do is go to your local vape shop and make sure that they're active in the fight.
A representative is more likely to be respectful to you and treat you like a human being if you...
And listen to you. You know, I mean...
Be polite.
Just
yeah.
Just be polite.
Well, I guess that covers what we were talking about.
So, then let's go into a little bit about the vape community as a whole, shall we?
Sure.
So, how to start this one? Let me start with a question. Joe, you would agree that this is the year that a lot is going to happen. A lot is going to change.
Oh, yeah. It's already changed.
Yeah, it has gone from... I mean, it changes every 6 months pretty drastically.
Oh, yeah.
But we have gone from 1, 2-ish calls to action, bills, potential something bad every couple months to 4 or 5 every week.
Yeah, like I was saying before, is a lot of people don't realize that we're only 100 days into the year, and at that point, we've already seen 12 states with bills that would potentially shut down vaping in those states.
Right. Yeah, and public vaping, whether it be even inside public office buildings or whatever, but some of them are actually shutting down, like in parks and.
Let's run down the hit list, okay? Yeah. A tax that would double the price of e-liquid immediately and devices.
Right.
Okay. Manufacturing principles that would triple the cost of manufacturing liquid. Okay. In Illinois, they want special locks put on mixing rooms.
Right.
Okay. In California, they would like to ban bottled e-liquid.
Right.
But not to be outdone by New York, who wants not only to ban bottled e-liquid but tax it at the same time. I don't get the logic on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably not it.
Yeah.
So, and even right here in North Carolina, where last year there's a tax on e-liquid that's effective in July, and my biggest concern is that both the North Carolina vapors and the North Carolina businesses are going to think they've already screwed us. There's nothing more than they can do.
Right.
And there's probably a lot of locals in this room.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
And I got news for you. If you think they screwed you with that, just wait. They'll find something to screw you with a lot bigger.
Yeah. You know, and I'm also seeing that a lot of the bills come up and then they table them. And that doesn't mean they go away, you know, or they're forgotten. They will come back up, and sometimes can come back up in you know, something in a form where it's not as, you know, popular, so people might not know about it.
Well, one of the things people don't understand is when a bill comes up, even if it gets voted against and shot down, as long as the session is open, the bill can be resurrected. And all they got to do is change a few words, and they can bring it right back for a vote.
Right. Yeah.
So, the vaping community as a whole, because there's a lot of things that we need to do as a community as a whole. So if you look across this table, especially just within the Plumes of Hazard guys, we are 4 very different people who vape 4 very different ways, who have completely different stances on what's okay, what's not okay, what we do, what we shouldn't do, etc. And we're all pretty good friends.
Yep.
There's so much infighting within this community. There's fighting over clones and authentics. Yep. There's fighting over drippers and tanks. We fight the Cigalite people.
Right.
We fight everybody in this community. We fight ourselves non-fucking stop.
Oh, yeah.
We fight Enjoy.
We fight big companies like Enjoy that actually hire lobbyists that help us right now.
Right.
We fight everybody. We fight each other constantly. But you're all here in this room getting along.
Right.
There's no fighting. Nobody's beating the crap out of each other. Nobody's screaming.
Yep. Wait, I'm just checking to see if Nick's screaming. Hang on.
Yeah.
No, he's good.
He's still in the bathroom.
So, if we can all function and get along here, then we should all function and get along out of here.
Right. You would think so.
We should be able to mobilize. We should be a community. We should be fine.
I mean, like I said this morning, we've got, I would venture to guess 90% of us in here started vaping because why? Because we used to smoke and we needed to stop smoking.
Right.
Well, we're going to be a while. Really? Yeah, we're
so why in the world are we going to be mean to each other? This is freaking ridiculous. We've all got something in common.
Yeah.
If you're sucking on a cigarette, that's fine. If you're blowing a cloud, that's fine. Quit being a dick. Quit being a dick to each other.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, and so many people don't understand, you know, there's even that divisiveness between those people who are still smokers and vapors. And we really need to break that barrier down because the next generation of vapors are smokers. It's just that simple.
Absolutely.
You know, so there's really no reason to do anything other than reach out to those people and show them a better way.
Yeah.
So if everybody here can get along, right? Yep. And we can look around and get along, we should be able to mobilize. And I gave this speech at Vape Mania, and there was a whole bunch of applause and a hell yeah, and people don't seem as interested in it this time. Has it gotten that bad?
For whatever reason.
See, that's pretty bad. I think we can get more of that if everybody's getting along.
Can we all get along?
Can we?
Can we all get along?
That's better.
Can we all just get active?
Yeah.
Just do something.
Could we actually talk to our representatives? That would be
Okay,
fantastic.
wait, we got a few dead corpses out there now.
We have a lot of dead corpses out there when you said active.
So, and when it's time, you got to vote. You know, people need to get out the vaping vote because, you know, with these state races like in Montana, one lady that caused us the most trouble as far as vaping, she only won by 30 votes. There's 30 vapors in Missoula that can vote her out next time.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, you have to realize there's actually, when I talk to CASA, when they're talking about the number of people that are available to do something in Montana, that number is less than 200 people.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's a very big state with a very small population.
Yeah.
Whereas when we talk about a state like Texas, where they have well over 20,000 registered people with CASA.
Yeah.
Again, that going there and registering, just responding to a call to action puts you on the rolls. So that means that you'll be able to get the emails to do something.
Yeah. Just get active.
Absolutely. Stay active, get along, stop fighting each other.
All right.
Yeah?
Keep in touch with what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes, and we do seem to have lost Grimm Green.
That's all right. We'll do the push-up.
He's still meeting people in the bathroom.
So, as we wind down a little bit, we figured that it would, since we have Matt from Suck My Mod and Grimm Green is missing, and we have Joe and we have us, that we would do an open Q&A.
Sure.
For anybody who has a question for any of the people who are up here, or a general vaping question in general.
Got a question? Coming up.
We'll also be giving away the rest of what we have based on the quality of the question. So the better the question, the better the swag.
Right.
If you are interested in that, line up over there.
And you want to start setting up this?
Hey, while you're waiting, Sean, while you're waiting, I'm going to throw a shameless plug out.
Go ahead.
Hey, for those of you who may not know, I'd like you to take a chance to visit down at the Vaping Militia booth. All the vendors here, many of the vendors here have donated a very wonderful prize pack that will be given away to a single vendor or to a single person on our raffle drawing. So far, the prize pack is somewhere up near $1,200 worth of vape equipment, including a Hexone version 3, tons of juice, T-shirts, stands, Addies, the whole 9 yards. So stop by and grab a ticket.
We may have some extra stuff to add to that at the end of the
night. I usually do, so it works well.
Got questions?
First question?
First question.
This is for the whole panel. What's the recommended amount of dedicated WAM I should have for a server?
2.
Nice. Thank you.
4. Nice. Sorry, Angsty.
4 is the answer.
Did that hit you?
All right, so I got a real question for anybody. So since you got Vape Slam going on, how come the hotels have decided to nix vaping for everybody here? Because we are giving them our money to be here.
Yeah.
Fair question. Probably answered because it came down from corporate. They don't like vaping.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
I know. Hotels like vaping.
Yeah, I know. Chris and Mooch tried to, get some people involved and fire marshals and stuff like that to, roam around. But it's pretty much corporate says no, and
they're in.
That's what they have to follow. So, good question.
Hey, buddy, you get some juice.
Come on up. Next question.
So, with the earlier comments on infighting and the carcinogens in California and all that, do you think that vaping as a community, we need some sort of, I wouldn't say regulatory committee, but an organization a la the NRA to kind of be a central officiating force as far as lobbying goes, and to make sure that we can keep doing this and keep having this every year and keep having a great time?
Well, it's my hope that at the industry level they would make that decision as to what type of regulation. But at this point, the way that we're scattered and we're not responding to what seems to be the right answer, what's going to happen is government's going to put their foot in and make some rules based on their ignorance. And I hate to say it that way, but they will make rules and then we'll have to fight to get them changed, which means we leave the legislation process and move to the litigation process. And that's going to be very expensive when we do that. One of the easiest things to think about, and this kind of goes back to the comment about why does the hotel hate us, is I hate to say it this way, but a little respect goes a long way. And that's really what we need to do.
Awesome. All right, if you guys have got questions, can you come out over here, please?
Look that guy up.
T-shirt from J-Raps. Thank you, gentlemen.
This is for Fubaka.
What's up?
Bagel chips or pretzel chips?
Pretzel chips.
Yeah.
There you go. Next up, anybody else?
I don't actually have a question, but I just wanted to...
Nice. All right. All right. All right.
Next person.
Is that all the questions?
No more questions.
That it?
All right.
Hey, look, it's Nick.
Oh, Nick made it back.
I was worried about you.
We really were, dude.
Oh,
we were really worried about you.
Worried about that.
You twisted us, man. You really twisted us on that one. You twisted our arm.
So aside from your live show,
He twisted our arm.
What are you guys personally most excited to see or do while you're down here at Vaper Slam?
I think hanging out with friends was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we really all came down to hang out together and see each other and do all that.
Absolutely.
We've only met in person twice. This is the second time.
Yeah.
All of us, anyway.
All right.
How do we want to
Ready?
play the last one?
We have a technical problem. 1 second.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Joe, for coming up and
My pleasure.
and talking to us. Appreciate it.
I have 2 bottles of juice left to throw.
All right, do it.
2 bottles of juice.
Yeah.
So that is it for the juice to throw.
All right.
And we had a technical difficulty with our last competition.
Yeah.
So hold on, Joe. Hold on. Just for a second. Because we still have some stuff that we have not yet had a chance to give away.
Right.
And since we don't have a competition for it,
Yep.
we have decided that we're going to donate it to your raffle.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow.
So go down.
And it's actually
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff.
It is. Call out what we got. We got cotton from Cotton Man.
Cotton from Cotton Man. A slide mod carrier for an iStick.
Turbo RDA.
Yeah, the kazoo.
Sound like a kazoo.
Some gnomes from the Vapor's Knoll.
Gnomes.
We've got Cotton from the Cotton Man.
Yep. Who's downstairs?
Check him out.
Check him out. Do we have any other? Oh, we also have a whole bunch of addies. Yeah, from Hot Sig. That big beautiful bastard shop right there. Hot Sig.
Mercury E-Liquid.
We got the stands.
Yep.
Also from J-Rap.
From J-Rap, they do have stands to give away.
Yep.
We've got juice from Crescent.
Man, for $10, that's definitely worth it.
So we're going to add pretty seriously to this pot in the hopes that you donate to Advocacy. Because Advocacy has kind of been the message.
Yeah. Right.
So
Absolutely.
we're going to donate everything that we got left in the hopes that a few more people go donate.
Go sign up for the Vaping Militia. Donate $10.
And again, we thank you guys.
Absolutely.
We kind of have a long history. You guys kind of came up at the same time we did, and we really do appreciate all you guys have done.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
But wait, there's more.
There is more.
There's more.
And the last.
I tried venting a battery here last year. They didn't like that. So
a Titan,
nice.
going mechanical mod.
Get it.
I'm not throwing it.
All right.
Nice.
Thanks, Joe.
It's all
there you go.
Appreciate it. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming out.
Yeah, that goes too. That's also from J-Rap.
All right.
He doesn't
Thank
get
you,
the Addy with
everyone.
that one, though. That's my
I set the Addy down. It's right there.
Yep. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Thank you all.
Guys, welcome to the Roast of Grimm Green. You know what we doing here. Welcome to the Roast of Grimm Green. You guys make some noise about it. Yeah, during the Roast of Grimm Green, this is what I found out. I've been asked several times by the roasters, if you will, how the fuck do you roast vaping's nicest guy? Yeah, vaping's nicest guy. We'll see about that. We'll see how the folks roast Grimm Green. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to be your roast master of the evening, along with the one, the only, the Vapor Joe, who I promise will get nastier as the show continues, because, I mean, Vapor Joe. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, it's unfortunate that we're left this day, as we kind of got changed around, did we not? But our culture can swing it. Look at this fucking room. Ladies and gentlemen, our first presenters of the evening are on one of vaping's most popular programs, where they entertain dozens of people each week, the Plumes of Hazard, at a combined weight of 482 and whatever the fuck Fubaka weighs pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, Mass Blast and Fubaka.
What's happening? Sorry, man. You got it. Well, we're here tonight to, again, roast one of vaping's nicest guys around. Give it up for Grimm Green, everybody. Yeah. You know, before we get into Nick here, we have some of the nicest looking people up here on this stage right now. We'll start off with Freeze. Freeze and myself, we go back a long time. You know, I think I heard what they call you this morning, a fat reject from Hot Topic. That was pretty good. For doing your job. For doing your job and not letting people in before, you know, the vendors were done. That's awesome. But you know, Freeze, I'm very proud of you. You've been doing the keto diet. I'm on it myself too. You know, but I have to keep reminding Freeze via IM that the keto diet doesn't, you know, the keto diet doesn't stand for keep eating them Oreos, all right? So just remember that.
All right. We're not going to sugarcoat this roast because I'm afraid Freeze is going to eat it.
I'd like a piece too, actually. You know, enough about Freeze. We got Freeze's partner in crime right here, the Mooch one. And Mooch lately has been looking like a broke-ass love child between Bono and Vin Diesel. If you guys saw those glasses yesterday.
Hey. No, he doesn't. He looks like a broke-ass short white Kanye.
All right, you know what? But I must say, you know, Freeze, if you break every 510 on every mod that I've ever made you, you might be the Freeze.
If you've got more juice in your mod than in your dripper, you might be the Freeze.
You know, also too, tonight we have a bunch of great vendors all around here. Let's give a hand of applause to all the vendors who came out and supported us into having this done. We got shut down by the hotels. It didn't matter. You come down here, you can vape your heart out. Thank you to all the vendors out here. One vendor that I do want to mention, if you guys haven't checked them out, is Nicobin. These guys rolled in suits, and they got a Ferrari down there. If y'all saw that white Ferrari, very nice. I heard that thing runs on 190 milligram nude nicotine. It's good stuff.
As we know, Twisted 420 is not in the house. Apparently, I just got word a couple minutes ago, but when they asked him to do the show, he wanted 2% of the door. All the time.
That wasn't gonna happen. You know, honestly though, another vendor that was great is Butch, the Cotton Man.
No, we're not making those jokes. No. Anyway, for those who don't know, Matt from Suck My Mod is somewhere in the vicinity. Where is he? There he is. He was supposed to be up here too, but he heard Twisted was here. And this being a very high traffic area, he didn't want to get thrown under the bus again.
Stay waxy, my friend. You know what? Another next, presenters that's going to be roasting Grimm is, speaking of high traffic area, is Flitz here. Look at that. Dressed, he just looks amazing. I swear I saw Flitz hailing a cab earlier like this. I don't know. I'm not sure if that was you or not.
Flitz, dude, you look so familiar, man. Did my mom buy Coke from you in the 80s?
Actually, you know what, dude? What the fuck kind of name is Flitz? Are you fucking Tinkerbell's older brother?
You gonna take me to Never Never Land? Did you bring your dust, dude? Did you?
Alright, enough about that and about the man himself, Grimm Green. He is such a nice guy. We're not gonna beat that to death here, but it's hard to come up with bad things to say about him. He's so nice that I just got word that he's offered to pay any hotel fire alarm bills. $250, Grimm will be paying them. Just come up with your receipt. He'll take care of all that.
For those who don't know, Nick is a visionary and a go-getter. He quit his day job, moved to Southern California. He's gonna get face tattoos soon enough, and gauges, and immerse himself in an industry that's going to be gone in 6 months.
Actually, speaking of tattoos, it's a great idea about the tattoos, but I hear, he's got ad space for any of the vendors on his back and on his forehead left. So if you want to hit him up, he's down to put some tats on there.
But Nick, I love you. You're looking healthy and all that, but I really, really, really like the trucker look on you better.
This is that beard, and he's the only person who can burp on cam and get 10,000 views on each fucking video. How do you do it, man?
All I have to say is, dude, you're in the wrong business. Become a cam girl. You can make a lot more money doing that. You know what I mean? And there's people that are into that shit. Very lucrative. Comic thing.
And last, the real reason we figured out that Nick takes so long to go to the bathroom is he does upbeat closey time every fucking time he goes to the bathroom. Upbeat closey time.
I'm surprised you're able to do it for that long.
Nick is the nicest dude I know. He's so nice that he won't get sour if you tell him that he's gained weight since the last time you've seen him. We were even going to make fun of your clutch. It's a clutch hat.
last but not least, you know, speaking of you know, the names of your juice. I saw your juice line. It looks great. But I have to know, did you spend more than fucking 2 minutes coming up with that name? Epic Clouds? I mean, seriously, on Google, of Donut Pounder. Ladies and gentlemen, Ahmed, Fubaka, and myself, MassBlast09. Thank you. Thank you, Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was absolutely fucking terrible. I have no idea. What is this? What is this? What is this about? This is about improv. Improv. Anyway. Well, for me it is. It's about improv. It's about making up as you go along. And let's give a round of applause to the guys from Plumes of Hazard, whoever they are. I think one of them looks like he's from fucking ISIS, I'm just saying, but...
And here we have a Big Timers in their natural habitat, buying delicious food at Jimmy John's to feed their ever-present need for nutrition and scrumptiousness.
And carbohydrates.
The life of a Big Timer begins at inception, when they crawl from the swamp, shed their husks, spread their wings, and start making YouTube videos. Here we see them. Oh, we startled the Big Timers.